I was gonna post a different video today. Had the whole thing planned out and ready to go. It was gonna be awesome. And then this happened. Luka Doncic just had one of the greatest games in NBA history. Today's video is sponsored by Audible. Whether you're at work, at the gym, maybe you're in the car or just getting things done around the house, with Audible, you can enjoy a great audiobook, a podcast, or even your favorite music all hands-free at the touch of a button. And now you can enjoy Audible with Alexa, making your listening experience completely hands-free. You don't even need the button. And throughout the month of December, Audible is offering 3 audiobooks completely free on Alexa. I wanted to give Fear the Wolf a listen. It's a book about a multi-billion-dollar family who owns a football team. It gets intense. And it's free on Audible right now. Alexa, read Fear the Wolf by James Patterson.
Part of him wishes it were that simple.
And it's that simple. Or I can just ask Alexa to find my next book for me. Alexa, recommend an audiobook.
One moment while I find a selection of books for you. Here's one Audible.
And by now pairing Audible with Alexa, you can discover new books or navigate within an existing listen easier than ever before. Alexa is the perfect hands-free companion this holiday season while you are cooking, cleaning, or just relaxing with the family. Sign up today, get completely hands-free with Alexa, enjoy any one of these free audiobooks, and discover new favorites with Audible on Alexa today. Here's a list of the greatest games in modern NBA history dating all the way back to 1979, according to GameScore. GameScore is a stat that uses all of the data from a given box score to measure a player's productivity and impact for a single game. Generally speaking, a game score of 10 is an average performance by an average player. A game score of 20 is considered a good game even from good players. A score of 30 is really starting to get into uncommon territory. Think all NBA level player on a very productive night. Throughout an entire NBA season, there's usually less than 50 games that exceed a game score of 40. Think best game of the season from a superstar. And once we creep into games that have exceeded a game score of 50, we are entering a territory that only a handful of players in NBA history have ever accomplished. Stephen Curry has never had a single game in his entire career that yielded him a game score this high. Neither has Kevin Durant. LeBron has only done it once in his entire NBA career, and so has Giannis. And Michael Jordan accomplished this feat more than any other player with 4 of these games throughout his entire career. But at the very top of the list are the 10 best games in modern basketball history, according to GameScore. Luka's game against the Knicks on Tuesday night earned him a game score of 56.3, the 5th best single game performance ever. 60 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists. Only the second 60-point triple-double in NBA history. This is the best regular season performance I have ever seen live with my own 2 eyes. Because if Luka's record-breaking stat line wasn't historic enough, the kid put up these numbers while pulling off an almost impossible comeback. With just 33 seconds left in the 4th quarter, the Mavericks were down by 9 points. At this point, 99% of teams will just concede and call it a game. In fact, throughout the last 20 years, there have been 13,884 teams that were down at least 9 points with 35 seconds or less remaining. Prior to Tuesday night, here's a list of the teams that pulled off a comeback in these games. None of them. Not one team in the last 2 decades has pulled off a comeback of this magnitude, until Luka and the Mavs did it. After going on a 6-3 run in just 29 seconds of game time, Luka found himself at the line with just 4 seconds left on the clock. He sinks the first free throw, but they're still down 2. So now Luka's got to pull off a miracle. Their only shot at winning this game would mean Luka would have to intentionally miss a free throw, beat 5 bodies to the ball, and somehow hit a shot in 4 seconds.
What shocks me about this game.
And that drew rim, it's still loose, Luka got it back!
And that's exactly what he did. This once-in-a-lifetime comeback, paired with this game-tying shot, is a highlight that most players could only dream of pulling off. And not only did Luka do it, this was his 54th point of the game. Luka Doncic is absolutely unbelievable. And right when you think you've seen everything the kid can do on a basketball court, he gives us this historic performance. And quite possibly the craziest part about all of this, the kid is only 23 years old. Here's a chart of the greatest games from all-time NBA greats before they turned 24. Towards the bottom, we've got Garnett, Dirk, and Iverson. As we make our way up, you'll see Steph, Westbrook, and CP3. Keep going up and you'll find that the greatest players of all time were always really good. Giannis, Harden, and LeBron all had similarly great games before they turned 24. And at the very top is Nikola Jokic, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal. 3 of the best games we've ever seen from young players. And then there's Luka, who put together a game so good, it doesn't even look like it belongs on this chart. This kid is something else. And after his historic performance, he is now averaging, are you ready for this? 34, 9, and 9 a game on 62% true shooting percentage. These numbers don't even make sense. If I didn't know any better, I'd think they were a typo. In fact, if you told me 6 years ago when I started covering the NBA that a 23-year-old would be putting up these numbers in 2022, I'd ask if we invented time machines and we somehow managed to go back to 1987 and transport a young Michael Jordan into today's NBA. If you showed me this box score without any context, I'd literally think whoever pulled this off was the greatest basketball player of all time. And then if you told me the same guy who piled up these numbers also pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in NBA history in the same game, I wouldn't hesitate to call you a liar. It's just not possible. What is this, 2K? No, it's just Luka Doncic. In fact, out of every player, in every game since the inception of the NBA, Luka is the only player to achieve a 60-20-10 game. Truly, a unicorn of a performance. In fact, if we add up all of Luka's counting stats, points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, his performance adds up to a whopping 94. To put this almost unbelievable total into perspective, here's a list of the most productive games in modern NBA history dating back to 1979. Just to even crack this list, a player needs to have a counting stat total that exceeds 71. That means a player can put up a 50-point triple-double and still not even make this list. You'll see a lot of James Harden on here, a lot of Russell Westbrook and Michael Jordan. Among big men, you'll find Joel Embiid a few times, Anthony Davis, Hakeem, DeMarcus Cousins, and others. But despite the tens of thousands of games that have been played over the last 43 seasons, only 24 individual performances exceeded a total of 80. And at the very top, right behind the best statistical game of Michael Jordan's entire career, is Luka's masterpiece. The second biggest game in modern NBA history, and the best game I have ever seen with my own eyes.
I'm tired as hell. I need a recovery beer.